and Kevin, I idolized Kevin from my early beginning, because we had the similar look, similar hair at one point, and I wanted to have the same shoulders as Kevin, and
most muscular.
I wanted to have the same triceps. I literally wanted to be Kevin, and it was I was happy about placing top 4. But I somehow felt bad for beating Kevin because it's not supposed to be this way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I never said this to anybody, but I really, really felt like I just beat my idol. You know what I'm saying? That's like that wasn't easy.
Hey everybody, welcome to It's Just Bodybuilding. Of course, Big Ron Partlow here with my co-host Dusty Hanshaw and the producer Scott McNally. And today on the show, Dennis, the Menace James. Fantastic to have you, man. IJBB Hall of Famer, world champion. It's great to have you on the show, buddy.
It's my pleasure, man. It's my pleasure. I watch a lot of podcasts, and every now and then I get to hear some of you guys. And last time you guys rated one of my videos. And
yes.
I think Ron, I messaged you because you guys were a little bit off with the information.
I forgot. So I was actually going to start with that because I forgot what your top placing was, and I quickly pulled up Wikipedia, and I must have
don't go off of Wikipedia.
Yeah, right. But I didn't quite. I was kind of in a hurry and I didn't quite see it, and I missed 03. Where you came in 4th. I thought your top was 6, and I thought that sounded low. I was like, I know he was higher than that. And I wanted to ask you specifically about 2003 because as a fan, like I started training in 1990, so I've got a very similar window of bodybuilding to you. Who my first Mr. Olympia was Lee Haney. You know what I mean? I was a Dorian fan, like all that stuff, and I look at 2003. Obviously that was the year Ronnie stepped up to a new level that no one had seen yet. That was the big 289 pounds. He's standing there laughing at prejudging. We all saw it. But that lineup in general was an unbelievable show. You had Jay Cutler in second, that was the year of Jay. He won every show that year. He won Night of Champions, Arnold Classic. He won everything. And then he came in and then it was Dexter Jackson in 3rd, right? And then you in 4th. And then Gunter in 5th.
Right. Gunter was 5th or 6th. Kevin was
Kevin there?
Kevin was 5th. No, either 6th. Kevin was 5 and 6.
Yeah, fifth was Gunter, 6th was Levrone. Yeah.
I remember this was, and Kevin, I idolized Kevin from my early beginning, because we had the similar look, similar hair at one point, and I wanted to have the same shoulders as Kevin, and I wanted to have the same triceps. I literally wanted to be Kevin, and it was I was happy about placing top 4. But I somehow felt bad for beating Kevin because it's not supposed to be this way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I never said this to anybody, but I really, really felt like I just beat my idol. You know what I'm saying? That's like that wasn't easy. But hey, shit happens.
So that's the only time you beat Kevin then. Was 03, right?
That's the only, because after that, Kevin never competed again.
Yeah, that was his last Olympia.
He did that. He came back 10 or 15 years later and he did another one. But that was the last time he competed, I think. No.
Yep.
There was one, I think there was, that was
he
the last
Olympia. Yeah, that was a hell of a year. And, you've seen it all. Like, you've seen everything. You trained Rami, but what do you remember thinking about Ronnie that year? Because it was very drastic,
Yeah. At that time, me and Ronnie, we used the same coach. Most of the top guys were all using the same coach, Chad.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you look at Ronnie the year before, the year before 2002, where he was okay.
A little bit light. Came in a little light, yeah.
Yeah, but when he lost to Gunter a couple of weeks after the Olympia. that was like that lit a new fire on the Ronnie, and I guess for him it was worse than losing the Olympia is losing to Gunter.
Right.
That's just my opinion. I'm not saying what Ronnie told me because he never did.
Yeah.
All I know is that he was pissed. You could see how pissed he was backstage. He was off that stage, gone.
No kidding.
Yes. So when he came back in 2003, now of course, the fans and the media, they hyped up Gunter as the one that's running for the Olympia against Ronnie. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on. I mean,
that was a reach.
if you want to be honest, yeah. Anyway, so the next year, Ronnie, the show was over. I'll tell you exactly when the show was over. Because at the Orleans, I don't know if any of you guys have been backstage there. When you come in, you go to the athletes entrance to get backstage. Then you got this long walkway, just like a long hallway, before you even get to the backstage area. And that's where they have the locker rooms. So forget that shit. And then you see out of one room, you see Ronnie come out. He had, I think, a towel in his hand, his trunks on. He was just walking with the lats hanging off of him. And there's the picture that's out there. When you see the picture, he's standing in the hallway with the lats. Yep. That's the picture that I'm talking about. The show was over right there. He didn't even get to the backstage area yet. That show was over. And I'll never forget that. I said this story 1,000 times. I'll never forget because we were backstage lined up for the mandatories because you come out with the mandatories first. And I remember Ronnie was 2 people ahead of me. And Kevin was right behind me. And I remember when the person in front of Ronnie just went on stage, so Ronnie was standing, holding himself at the rails or left or right. He was standing there. And I remember, I never forget what Kevin said to me. He said, look at this motherfucker here. Doesn't he look just like a silverback gorilla?
Literally.
That was crazy. I'll never forget. That was crazy. Yeah, that show was over before it started.
Yeah, that 2003 was. Obviously that was your best placing at the O. Do you also feel that was the best package you brought to the O?
Not necessarily. I think that 2004, the next year, would have been a better package. But for whatever reason, shit happened the day before. I got indicted. Literally, the feds, the feds waited until Friday before prejudging to come to my hotel room at the Mandalay Bay and give me an indictment for some bullshit. So that fucked up my condition just a little bit, to be honest.
A little stress.
Wow. Okay.
But other than that, I think the 2004 was my best package for myself. But you know what? Everybody has a different taste, so
Right.
We've spoken fondly and sometimes humorously about an era that I was really happy to be a part of, and it was the message board era. Get Big and Muscle Mayhem and Pro Muscle, all those sites. And sometimes my brain, I can't quite remember the order of the sites or which ones were the biggest, but I remember you were posting your Thailand shots in the early 2000s, like 2000, 2001, 2, 3. The highlight of the month on Muscle Mayhem or whatever site I was on was if Dennis puts up new pictures. And
I was the first one to ever do that. Did Brock's pictures?
It felt like it had. Those days were crazy. You were on the board posting pictures. Tom Prince was on the board, and Lee Priest was on the boards. Remember? And then everyone thought Nasser was GH15 or whatever that person was.
I still to this day get messages from people thinking I was GH15.
No, right. That's funny.
You remember a guy who run this website, Ron Avidan?
Yeah. Yep.
I went up to Ron so many times. I said, Ron, you motherfucker, you know it's not me. Stop fucking letting these people fucking guess it's me. I said, what the fuck are you doing that for? Because he was all for fucking, a crowd and traffic on the website.
Yeah.
So he could have easily said, I know for a fact it's not Dennis, because he knew it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Because I personally think that he was one of them.
Yeah. See, I always thought it was more than one person and they shared an account. But those days were just crazy.
It definitely wasn't NASA. I can promise you.
No, okay. Those days were crazy, but when your pictures would come out, like they would be the chatter of, we think of nowadays, with Instagram and stuff, but you were way ahead of the curve with how viral you went in bodybuilders conversations. Like I remember going for pizza with guys and the conversation would be, "Do you see those pictures Dennis put on Muscle Mayhem?" Like, and this was like 2001 when no one else was able to do that. You know what I mean? No one else.
2000.
Yeah, 2000.
2000. And you know why I did it though? Because I lived in Thailand. I'm so far away from the center of the sport. I said, how can I create? Because I knew I read magazines, and you understand that it's easier. This is what everybody thinks. It's easier for the guys in the US to get seen on stage.
Yeah.
So I said, how can I create at least a little bit of hype for myself so people know I'm coming? So I'm not going to get overlooked, because that was my fear, that I'm going to get overlooked. I mean, I won the USA, so I knew I'm not going to get totally overlooked because they know I'm the USA champ. But I wanted to create more hype for myself, And back then, one picture took 45 minutes to upload, bro. I kid you not.
Yeah,
big commitment.
I think this was the first internet they had in Thailand, man. It was still dial-up, That shit took forever.
That reminds me, we had a bunch of listener questions. I thought this would be a great time to ask one of them because it totally relates. We had somebody who asked, what was it like living in Thailand when everybody in the US, like bodybuilding was so big, Venice Beach, everybody was in that same spot. What were the pros and cons of being in Thailand at the time?
Well, I can only speak for when I started bodybuilding, because when I went to Thailand, I wasn't even training. So I went there before I started lifting weights.
Right.
So, but as a bodybuilder, the pros is you save. I'm talking 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You save a lot of money on food. You save a lot of money on drugs.
Yeah.
That shit, and you don't have to worry about getting fake stuff back then, because you walk into the pharmacy and whatever you need is there. And I remember when I started, I had no idea about drugs. My first cycle was one Suster and one Deca a week. That's it. And I thought I was doing outrageous shit. I didn't even know. When you don't know, you don't know. So that's the pros, and then you have beach. You go to the beach after you're training in the morning, you recover, you go back to the gym. That's the lifestyle is easy as a bodybuilder. The cons are that you, as a pro especially, you are so far away from the center of the sport when it comes to guest appearances. It's hard because nobody's going to fly you in, and I don't fly anything less than business. Nobody's going to fly you in for $4,000 or $5,000 to give you a $3,000 fee for guest appearance plus hotel. Right. You're talking $10,000 to bring somebody from Thailand. So they use people from the US where they don't have to pay as much. And this is understandable, I get it. Yeah. So that's a con. Another con, what's another con? Another con is that you don't have the training partners you can have here. You don't see. I wasn't around bodybuilders, so it's not like if it wasn't for my VHS tapes, I would never see any of those guys. Because there's no magazine back there in Thailand. There was no. Later on, I bought the Flex magazines when I went to airports and paid $16 for a Flex magazine. But for me, it was all through VHS tapes. Wow. Back then, there was not even DVDs. It was still VHS. Yeah. And I would play those tapes to motivate myself, to go to the gym. Since that was my pre-workout, so to speak.
Yeah. I feel like I was one of the guys that knew about you before everyone else. And that's because I spent 2 years in Australia in 92 to 97. And I knew a couple characters that spent time in Thailand said they trained with you, that sort of thing. So I had heard these stories of Dennis James, the NABA Universe guy, right? The old days. Because did you do some NABA?
But it had to be a little bit later because I didn't start lifting weights
98. Maybe it was 97, 98. Yeah.
Yeah, because I started lifting weights in 92.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But when did you win the NABA?
Show, NABA. But that was before I wasn't thinking about competing. I just started lifting weights, and it was literally $100 bet. That's not that's no bullshit. So that's the truth. I started this bet, and I went to the gym with the same guys, and basically just started lifting weights. And a year later, literally a year and 3 months later, I was on stage in Birmingham at the Universe.
No kidding. How old were you then?
26 or 27.
Okay.
Right.
One of our listeners sent me this.
I was 26 when I started and 27 when I competed.
Okay. One of our listeners sent me this. Now this has got to take you back. Yeah,
but this is funny because this is me at 14 years without ever lifting a dumbbell.
You're kidding me.
Yes. That's the time when I was active. I was a soccer player in Germany. And we found, I remember this is in our backyard, so to say. And we found a magazine of, it was an old German bodybuilding magazine, and it had Arnold doing a lat spread on the front. And we just copied the pic. I was 14 years old in that picture.
Yeah.
The biggest thing on me was my afro. It wasn't nothing else. But that's the shape that I have from the get-go. Yeah. So when I first started training, I remember I asked the guy at the gym, he said, can you show me a few things? And he looked at me and he thought I'm bullshit because he said, I look like I've been training for years. You know, I always had this muscular physique. So I knew I had the genetics. I knew that. Because at one point in Germany still, I was 18, I was a junior. I did start training. So I trained for 6 months, basically. From March to October. I trained. And in October, I did a junior show and won the overall. I remember that. And that was the last thing I did until 85 or 86. And then I didn't do nothing until 92. No lifting weights.
That's crazy. Yeah. So you got your pro card in 98, right? At the USA?
Yes, 98. Because I did, like I said, I did now about 93, 94, 95 as an amateur. Yep. 93 was my first show. It's funny. I never qualified for any of that shit. And I'm a U.S. citizen. I don't even have a German passport. But the German national team brought me to England to compete for the U.S. So I was the only one out of the whole team in the U.S. back then that placed in the top 5.
Oh, no way.
So my first universe, I was 4th. So there was no awesome. Americans that placed anywhere near me. Then the following year, I went back because now I'm thinking, shit, if you place 4th, we might be able to win this thing. So 94, I went back and I got 2nd. And then 95, I won the universe.
Yeah. You know? I remember people saying this guy's going to go to the IFBB and be like a destroyer. Like, so,
that was what I mean? That was my ultimate goal. But I did at that point, I didn't really think that this was possible because, like I said, I was born and raised in Germany. I live in Thailand. So now IFBB is where everybody wanted to be because I remember after I won the universe and then I did the pro universe in 96 where I got 2nd. I told my boys, we were sitting in the go-go bar, having fun. I said, year 2000, I won the Olympia stage. They're like, man, shut the fuck up and have another drink. You know what I'm saying? Nobody believed anything I said, you know? And then I said to myself, how am I going to get this pro card? Because I know there's a world championships. That's not for U.S. citizens. That's where the whole world, they have a world championship where the overall gets a pro card.
Right.
So I said, so what am I going to do? I said, in order for that, you need to qualify in your country to be even allowed to compete at the world championships. So I said, you know what? Fuck it. I said, let me just fly to, all the info I had was from magazines. Now keep in mind, I didn't know anybody personally.
Right.
All I know is what you read in the magazines, you know Venice Beach is the place. And you know that there's Golds Gym in Venice Beach, and you know there's the Marina Pacific. Does that ring a bell?
Yep.
Marina Pacific. So this
the
is
hotel, yeah.
I remember I booked myself a flight from Bangkok to Los Angeles. took a taxi. I said Marina Pacific. I had no idea how much the rooms are. Nothing. Then I took a room. It was $250 a night. I was like, God damn.
It's not,
So I
it's not
said, okay.
Thailand.
So I checked in, and then I walked downstairs and I asked the guy in the reception, "Where's Golds Gym?" And he just said, "Yeah, just walk down there this way, 2 blocks or 3 blocks or whatever." He said, "Fuck, that shit was forever." I walked there, and I remember I walked into Golds. Now keep in mind, I have no idea who's going to be in there. I know that who trains, but at that time, so the first one I saw was Paul DeLette. I was like,
Do they all look like this?
bro, it was unbelievable. So I go in there, I don't talk to anybody else, just secretly train a little bit. But I was friends with Gary Stridham at that point.
Okay.
Already. Because I met Gary in Thailand. I had Gary sleep in my house over there. Because he was just trying to come to Thailand, and I was already there for 12 years or whatever. And then, so I asked Gary before I went there, I said, who do I talk to in order to turn pro, to get well, you have to compete as an NPC member first. So I had that in my mind. I went in there. I didn't talk to anybody. The first person that walked up to me, I think it was the second or the third day, was Rico McClippy, the Flex Wheeler's training partner. And they looked at me like, "Hey, what are you doing? Where are you from? Blah, blah, blah." So I told him this and that. I said, "I'm live in Thailand and I competed in NABA, but I want to, he said, "Listen, when you walk in here, you IFBB. Don't even mention NABA." I said, "Okay." So I said, "How do I go about this now to sign up so I can start competing?" He said, "Here's John Lindsay," because he's like right there, Marina Del Rey. He said, "You give me the number." He said, "Call John Lindsay, tell him you want to sign up for an NPC membership." So I called John. I'll never forget. This is so funny. I called John Lindsay. John Lindsay answered. You guys know John Lindsay, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know how he is, So I said, "Yeah, Mr. Lindsay, this is Dennis James. I want to sign up. I want to get an NPC membership." He said, "Yes. Where you want me to send the forms to?" I said, "Thailand." He said to me, "What the fuck you doing in Thailand?" I said, "I live there." He said, "Okay." So he basically, we did it through Gary because Gary still lived right across the street from Firehouse in that apartment building. So he had to send it to him. It went through him. Back then it was $40 to sign up. And I got my membership. So now I had to come back to compete. So I said, I had no idea that there's a cutoff time when you qualify for this year, and then what's the qualification for the following year. So I thought if I come real close to the Nationals back in '97, then I'm okay. If I qualify at the border states, which is 2 weeks before the Nationals, I can compete. So I went to the border states. I didn't even know where San Diego was, to be honest. I was in Venice, and I asked the guy, I said, "Hey, how do I get to San Diego?" I had no credit card back then. No,
Right.
only cash. But you can't, in America, you can't get a rental car with cash.
Right.
They don't accept cash. So I said, "Do you know anybody?" He said, "Yeah, I have this guy who has a rental company." So we got a car. I said, "Can you come with me? Because I don't know where San Diego is." There was no GPS back then.
Good point.
Yeah. So I'm new to this. So he said, "Yeah, I'll drive with me." So as long as I take care of his food. Anyway, so we drove to San Diego. There was the athletes meeting, and I remember they said, because I signed up for novice. Because I read the information. I read the information, and it said, if you never competed before, then you're novice. So I signed up for novice. I didn't know. So I went in there, and this one guy comes out, "Oh, novice athletes, this room, all the other ones, the other room for to check the height, and not height, but the weight."
Yeah.
So I go with the novice. I take my clothes off. They said, "No, you over there." They sent me right to the other room. They didn't even want to talk to me no more. Said, "No, you over there." So anyway, so I ended up winning the border states. I won the overall. And then I found out that this is for
Next year.
98. Yeah, I was like, fuck. But then, thank God for Lonnie Teeper and I think Jim was there too. And I think Jim said, "You know what? He's coming from out of the country. Let's just let him just go." So I did go to Dallas last minute. Basically, there was no more rooms at the event hotel, so I had to find a hotel, and it was stressful because I was by myself. Keep in mind, that's the time where we still paint ourselves with the pro tan. There's no spray tan, none of that shit. You all know that. So I was there. I ended up fourth. I remember Tom Prince won. Overberg got second. Garrett Downing got third. I got fourth. I think, I don't know who got fifth, but I think Dave Palumbo got sixth.
Okay.
That was my first national show. And then I was so motivated placing fourth. For me, that was because I'm not from around here. So I figured, if they see me, that means there got to be something. So I was so motivated. And I remember having this conversation with Lonnie Tipper immediately after the show. I was still in front of the stage. And I said, I promise you guys, when I come back next year for the Nationals, I'm going to be so much better. And they said to me, why would you want to wait till the Nationals next year? Why don't you go to the USAs in June? June or July. I said, yeah, but this is what I read in the magazines, that the USAs is a West Coast show, and the Nationals is more like for everybody.
Right.
So when I told him, I said, yeah, but I know they have heavy favorites in the West Coast. No, he said, no, I wouldn't wait. So I didn't wait. I went straight to the USAs. It was my first USAs and won the overall. First year they introduced the super heavies. That was that's how I got my pro card. That was 98. So
yeah.
The
That was great. Didn't you have a really close showdown with Melvin Anthony for that super heavyweight? I remember hearing it was
I debate this with Melvin all the time because Melvin said, yeah, we tied. You keep telling people we tied. Did you win?
That's amazing.
He keeps telling people, oh, we tied. He never said you beat me at the USAs. He always tells people we tied. No, we didn't tie. I turned pro. You didn't.
Yep.
So
you know what I'm saying? So I said, Melvin, if it was really a tie, let's say it's a tie. Why did I win and not you?
Right.
I asked him, why did I win and not you?
What does he say?
They knew who you were. You got third the year before. You competed 4 years in the USAs. It's my first time. They could have easily said, let's give it to Melvin. He's been there.
Yeah.
Right.
If you were good enough, I told him.
So Dennis, I got to back you up to your border state story because in 2008 I did the border state for my first big show, and I was sponsored by iForce Nutrition back then, and I won the overall, and we're at dinner, and the owner of iForce goes, I did the border states once. And I was like, oh, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, I prepped for that show. He's like, I came into it. He goes, I'll never forget. I'm backstage at the show. I'm looking around, and he goes, I got this in the bag. And then apparently you walked in from the novice side, and he went, uh-oh. He goes, then some freak shows up because you might know him. His name's Dennis James. I'm like, get out. He's like, yep.
It's
he goes,
classic.
I had the whole room to myself. I'm looking around going, I got this thing done. And then here you come from the novice side, drug over. He goes, well, second's pretty good.
And you know how much I weigh? You know how much I weigh in for that show?
How much?
What?
226.
Dang.
Yeah.
226. I was the heavyweight by 1 pound. Now, no, what am I saying? I was a heavyweight by
Super. Yeah.
No, there was no super heavies in 97.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, 97. Oh, yeah.
Super heavies was introduced first time at the
98.
USAs in 98.
Right.
And then I was 226 at the border states, and then of course I had no idea. I keep dieting, not eating, just eating a little bit of fish, and I ended up at the Nationals being 215.
No kidding.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, I weighed in at 215. I remember when I checked when we weigh in, and I remember who was it? I think it was John. He saw how much I flattened out because I was dieting. I didn't know. I had nobody to talk to. And then he told Don, he said, Don, help this guy to get some food. Let him carb up.
Yeah.
You know, that's when Don Long took me to the grocery store. And then, but still, like I said, I weighed in 215, and then in June the following year, I weighed in at super heavyweight at 232. That was the first year.
Nice.
Damn.
Yeah, that was probably for me. That was probably something I'll never forget, because when you see how many times others have to get to the USAs too, because back then there was one pro card.
Oh yeah.
It's not like today where everybody has to put IFBB Pro next to their name so we know they're pros, because you can't tell when you look at them. You know what I'm saying? So you have to see it. I hate that shit, man. I literally hate it. I literally hate it when people run off stage because they got second in their class and they are able to turn pro, and they run back. They haven't even watched the fucking protein off yet and already changed their status.
Yeah.
This bothers the shit out of me. I kid you not. This really bothers me. Because back then, you don't never have to fucking put IFB Pro next to your name. Because if you win a pro card in the US, everybody, and even the world would know, because they would have a spread on you at Flex Magazine, Muscle and Fitness.
Yeah.
Everybody would know who the USA champ is, or the national champ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and therefore, I don't even know what I wanted to say no more.
You got you lit up.
Well, this ties in with my next question. It was, you were separate from the Venice group, right? Just because of the distance. So when you came to California, what did you think of the training? Were you training a little differently than they were? Did you think your attitude was a little different just because you weren't in a bubble and all that? And then how do you feel about training now? You know, that sort of transition.
Okay, back then, for me, which I thought everybody does the same. I thought everybody is organized when it comes to the diets and your training, and only to come to find out that the guys in the US were totally the opposite. You know, I had everything done. I trained at the same time. You would literally see I start, when I say 12, it's 12, not 12:02, not 12:01, it's 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
I would eat on time. Everything would be on time, just like a professional. And then when I come to the US, I see that these guys, we train at 2 o'clock today, 3 o'clock tomorrow, don't even show up the next day. Everything is just, we'll see.
Right.
You know, I remember, I never forget, I asked Melvin after we became friends, I said, how much protein do you eat a day? He said to me, 8 chicken breasts. I said, how much protein do you eat? If you tell me 8 chicken breasts, how do you know how much protein you eat? He didn't even weigh his food. And I said, yeah, but how heavy were the chicken breasts? He said, about this big.
About this heavy.
Yeah.
They didn't take it serious.
Yep.
It was just different for us. Maybe this is my German mentality. I grew up in Germany. Everything is like, there's no way I could miss a meal. I don't care what I'm doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But some of these guys, I said, they take it so easy. That's why I always said, and I told Melvin last week on my podcast, I said this maybe 1,000 times. I said, if I would have your body and my mentality, I would be Mr. Olympia. I would win every show.
Right.
Literally. Because that's
Yeah.
all he was missing, is that right mindset to take it one step further, to go, because without cheating, this alone, that.
Yeah. You've taken a lot of guys under your wing and help them improve their physiques and get a lot bigger and better. I mean, I've seen it over the years, and I've also thought of you as one of like the most hardcore bodybuilders of my generation. And I just wanted to ask you, at this stage in your life, you know, you trained guys like Rami, you put Rami through the ringer for years, you know, what do you really think matters? And what do you think a lot of people are not focusing on that they should be focusing on, that sort of thing? Like your kind of training philosophy at this stage in your life.
Good question.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare my training from now to back then, you can't compare it. And now I train like a fitness lady.
You're training, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But listen, I haven't trained in the last. I'm gonna start again today because I was traveling for 6 weeks where I didn't get to train. Come home sick. But no, I don't really sweat when I train no more. I'm not Dusty. No. I see Dusty. Every time I see a clip from Dusty, I was like, when the fuck is he gonna wake up?
Oh yeah. No, I mean, yeah. I mean, like, what do you think the guys need to be doing that they're not doing? That sort of thing. Like
guys
when you
coming
think
up.
of Rand, guys coming up,
Probably be more like Dusty and take it serious. I think the problem is that nowadays there's so much money to make with other sources like social media, and that people lose that appetite of bringing that best and everything to the stage to make that money. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to say. I mean, I'm not saying guys today don't train hard. For them it's hard. When you ask somebody, yeah, I train super hard. Until you train with them one time, and then they realize it. I remember, do you train like this every time? I said, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then you realize, for them, they don't know. When you don't have someone from those good old days, let me put it this way, to show you what we used to do. We didn't have the machines they have today.
Yeah.
We didn't, especially not me in Thailand, because all we had in Thailand was self-made equipment. Self-made. We literally copied hammer strength and Cybex from the catalog.
Really?
We copied, we had the guys who know how to weld. He would copy the pieces. We do 4-inch instead of 2-inch. And then he would bring the pieces on a pickup truck. I kid you not. I would sit on a stool and I would hold where I think the best angle is, and he would and take it back and finish it.
That's amazing.
When you look at the video that you guys looked at, that was in Thailand. That all the equipment that you see, we made ourselves.
I never would have guessed that. I didn't think about that at all.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
When you see the name on the equipment, it says Body Flex. And that's my boy's company who welds their stuff together.
That's wild.
We did notice you had those crazy plates with the small hole in them on a lot of, those plates, crazy old plates.
Self-made plates. They were thinner. They were like 3 plates is as thick as one.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, we noticed that.
But you'd be surprised. This is heavy.
Oh, yeah.
It's still the same 45 pounds.
Yeah, but you have no problem stacking weight. Especially when you do with T-bar rows and stuff. When you do T-bar rows with a regular bar, you can put 6 plates and that's it.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Right.
You see, I was able to put 10, 12 easy.
Who's the most impressive bodybuilder you've ever trained in the gym for just what they were able to do and how they moved weights with quality and intention and all that? I know Rami moved some huge weights. I know you trained a lot of guys though. So, does anyone stand out?
Well, I got to say, Rami back in 2014, he did some impressive stuff. He would take the 150-pound dumbbells, take it from the rack, sit down, put them up, do some flies, put him down, and puts him back in the rack. Very light, nice and easy. No dropping weights, none of that stuff. So he had some impressive lifts. He's never really pushed it to see how strong, but he didn't need it. He was growing off of someone else doing the exercise. But then again, for me, it's not the most impressive is not the strongest one. The most impressive guys for me are the ones that can take a punishment and keep coming. And don't give up, and don't complain. There was one guy comes to mind who, I trained a lot of pros, from Tony Freeman and Johnny Jackson to Marcus Haley, Melvin, you name him, I trained with him. But this guy from Brazil, his name is Jolan Vieira. That little motherfucker, boy, I tried to kill his ass. I literally tried to kill himself. Kill him. And I had to kill myself doing it. Still couldn't get him. This dude has, to this day, I don't think there was anybody that could even hang with him when it comes to being determined and not giving up. It doesn't matter what you throw at him. Super sets, giant sets, slow sets, super slow. He would take it and keep going.
Those the guys you trained with, the intensity that you had in your Thailand days that you brought to, like I was watching the videos, you strip setting Rami on the T-bar and all that stuff. It's just like that's fun shit for me. You know what I mean? Like that's to me real bodybuilding entertainment, And
but you know what? The thing is, this is something you have to do all year. You can't just do it the last 3 weeks when you're here.
Right. Yeah.
And I kept telling them, I said, this is what you need to do all year.
Do you feel like that's what's lost
good.
now with with the training levels? Is that I feel like back when we started, most bodybuilders loved lifting weights, so they became bodybuilders. Whereas now, becoming a pro is the goal that gets you to walk into the gym the first time. You know what I mean? It's almost like things are backwards, and that's why guy like myself or Ron, who are long retired, we still want to go to the gym to push just because that's where the love is. That's what I feel like has gotten a little bit lost along the way, because I came up watching you guys, and that to me was the only way to train, because I would watch the videos and I'm like, this is how you do it. There was no option. I'm looking at you going, okay, you're genetically better than me and you train harder than me. Okay, I got to step up. Like, I'm not getting, you know what I mean? And now it seems
but
like
you would use that as motivation.
Way?
You would use that as motivation. And that's the way you should be, But Dorian said the right thing when this question came up. He said, you know what? The difference between now and back then is, back then everybody wanted to be a bodybuilder. Today, not everybody wants to be a bodybuilder. Most people want to be man physique or classic physique.
Yeah.
Back then, if you want to start lifting weights, you had to lift because of bodybuilding. Now, man physique, you don't have to train your legs. That's how they think. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
Thing is, it's just all upper body, So that's the difference. You have more people coming into the sport, but less people want to be bodybuilders.
Right.
What was your favorite gym that you trained at? You had Thailand, you were at the Coliseum for those years there with Milos. Didn't you spend quite a bit of time there? Golds Venice, you spent quite a bit of time at. Just for Golds Venice in the 90s.
Golds Venice back then was unbeatable. It was just it's the atmosphere. It's not that so much the gym, it's the atmosphere,
Yeah.
They had literally buses, tour buses, Chinese, Japanese, come in every day for them to walk in and take pictures. It's when you walk into Gold's Gym back then, it was you almost scared you see someone.
Yeah.
Because you never know who you see. You never know who you see.
That's wild.
I have an amazing Gold's Gym memory, and you're in it. And
really?
I didn't know we didn't speak or anything, but I was lucky enough to spend some time at Gold's the week before the Olympia in 2003.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was there 8 days out. And a good friend of mine was actually doing the Olympia. So I was there to work out with him a few times and kind of hang out. And, I remember seeing some of the guys in the gym, everyone's very serious. You're 8 days out. It's not like no one's laughing and joking around. There's there was a tension in the gym almost. It was really interesting. I remember Chris Cormier had been sick and he wasn't sure if he was going to compete. And I remember talking to him. And then I remember one day we were training chest and you came in and you came into the back room and you got on one of the bikes. And you put your hood up and you put your headphones in, and you just started pedaling on the bike. And you were on that bike the entire time we were training. It must have been at least an hour you were on the bike. Yeah. And I just remember how drawn in your face was. And I remember just every time we walked into that room, because we kept going in there to train, I'd always look over at your face and go, holy shit, he must be peeled. I remember that. It's just one of those funny things that I never forgot,
and you can see the face change in that hour. Once you start, you're still a little fuller. At the end of the hour, your face. I always did. I did 2 hours every day. Hour in the morning and an hour in the evening, every day. Because I took it serious. For me, I said, this is what I do. I have nothing else to do. I mean, I left a home in Thailand 2-3 months before the Olympia to train. I always found myself an apartment, either Marina del Rey or Santa Monica or somewhere, just a small apartment where I can cook my own food and then just get to the gym, and that was it. I would be in the gym 3 times a day.
You hear so many stories about the characters at Gold's Gym. And I love asking this question because everybody who trained there back in the day has a different story. Can you think of any specific person, maybe not even a famous person, just somebody who was just a legit character at Gold's Gym?
Yeah, I have a story. I got plenty of story, but this one stands out.
I bet you do.
You guys know this guy? I'm in the gym every day, and I see this guy in there every day, and I don't know, for whatever reason, I hate it. I not really hate, but I saw this guy. I somehow got angry, and somehow like, and it probably shows that I don't like this guy. I said, don't ask me why. I don't even know him, but I thought I knew him. Somewhere I know this guy from somewhere. I couldn't remember from where. It was just a match. Come to find out, this was Ray Liotta, the actor.
You're kidding.
And I watched the movie a while before that, where he played that cop, and he was so obsessed with this one girl.
Yeah.
That was married. That's why I didn't like this guy.
Because you remembered the movie. He just looks like a bad guy.
It didn't hit me until Charles. I said, Charles, man, I can't stand this guy, man. I said, sooner or later, I'm going to smack the shit out of him. And he said, oh, that's Ray Liotta. That's an actor. I was like, are you serious?
And then you put it together.
I had to go and apologize for fucking mean mugging this dude.
I was mad at you. You played that part so well. I was pissed at you.
I said, you played so damn good, man. You still got me mad. Yeah.
That's funny.
I've heard stories like that, or like somebody who's like on Unsolved Mysteries, and then the guy who plays the bad guy, everybody ends up calling the police. Like, I saw the guy. He's in my neighborhood, when it was the actor. You know what I mean?
the reenactment guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I remember my first day at Golds. I saw Andrew Dice Clay in the pro shop.
You're kidding.
Yeah, Andrew Dice Clay. Andrew Dice Clay, the comedian. The Dice Man. Oh, you don't know Andrew Dice Clay? Hickory Dickory Dock. Remember the nursery rhymes?
There it is.
There he goes. He knows the guy. And I remember I saw Rowdy Roddy Piper, the wrestler.
Oh man,
the first day there training. Like
I remember times when Shawn Michaels, when Triple H was still holding his back.
Oh, no kidding.
That far back I go. I remember the first two tapes, VHS tapes of from the UFC 1 and 2, I got from Bruce Butler and Golds Venice.
No way. That's awesome.
He put it in my hand. He said, please bring it back to me, because I said, don't worry, I never gave it back to him. Yeah, I remember all that. I remember like guys like Vitor Belfort, 19 years old, 20 years old in there training, for his UFC fights, But think with China back then, when Triple H was still dating China.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were basically walking in the shadow from Shawn Michaels, who was the WWE star back then.
Right.
Yeah.
But back then it was still WWF.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you see how things change. Next thing you know, China was the star at the WWE. Triple H, he ended up marrying, what's her name?
McMahon, Stephanie.
But back then, like I said, he was just a regular guy. Fucking, was happy to be able to train with Shawn Michaels.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I got another one I want to ask you. Yeah, I wanted to ask, so what would you attribute it is about you, your personality, just the way you are, that has kept you so relevant in bodybuilding? Because I see you everywhere still. You've got your podcast. I see you doing announcing. We went out to Germany and we heard, Dennis James is going to be here. I think you got sick, so you didn't make it. But like you're kind of like everywhere still, basically. And you're a person who's in demand. You retired a long time ago, but you're still a big part of the bodybuilding industry. What is that? Why is that you're that guy?
Because I think that this is, everybody else should feel the same. When you work so hard to achieve something in a sport, and I'm not saying I achieved a crazy amount.
You did, by the way.
When you can say that any bodybuilding fan in the world knows who you are because of bodybuilding, then you achieved something, okay? And this is before the social media time, but my thing was always, I worked so many years towards this that just to walk away and let it all go doesn't make any sense for me.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you got to profit sometime, somewhere.
Yep.
You know, and if you're not lazy, you know, this is the most, as a bodybuilder, you know, once you're still competitive, you got to be lazy because, you know, in order to get your rest and your food, you can't be on the road and doing these things that you have to do in order to make money. So you got to put everything on kind of on the back pedal, you know, and back foot and focus on the sport alone. But after that, you got to have a plan B. And I always tell this to athletes now, you need to have a plan B. I don't care what it is. You know, it doesn't have to be in the industry, but you got to have a plan B because this sport, once you're done with this sport and you walk away, people remember you, but they'll stop talking about you after 3 months. It's over.
Yep.
You must have not have stopped loving bodybuilding too, because you know some people
Absolutely
they're
not.
you know, and that's what I think I
Absolutely.
get out of it. You know, that's what I get from you. Is you still love the sport.
Yeah, you know, and I'm going to keep loving the sport because at the end of the day, it only helped me in so many different ways.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, it helped you stay away from other shit that you would probably get into if you're not want to be home and resting and sleeping. You know, there's so many other opportunities where you can do some stupid shit. You know,
Oh, yeah.
and now I'm at a point where I can say, this is what I was looking for, you know, and to have something, you know, I'm 58 years old. I like I said, I do my podcast. I have a supplement line now. I still train a couple of people online. I have the most important thing for me is shows. I do a show here in Arizona. This is my 10th year. And I run shows in Germany. I run 14 shows in Germany now a year.
Wow.
14 shows. So this is something where I, as a former competitor, feel that I have a little more insight on what the athletes really want to see or what the athletes really need at the end of the day.
For
You know
sure.
what I'm saying? So, and of course, it's also profitable. I mean, I'm not saying it's not because nobody would work unless you get paid.
Of course.
But you know, this is what I was thinking about this whole time. I said, you're gonna have to use whatever you work for, use your name and try to turn that into something positive and you know, something you can live off, you know, once you get older. It's not like I'm hanging out in clubs every day or unless I spend $1,000 every night. I'm not doing that no more. I'm happily married. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I want to do and I feel good about it. I also do the broadcast for the Arnold.
It's so good too. You do a great job at that.
Yeah. So those are the things that I love because I can stay involved. And it's just Dusty, best example. Me personally, I was like, he's crazy. He's still lifting weights, but he needs to fucking prove to the world who he is. But I get it. I understand him. If he would train with me right now and he would have to do the same thing I do, he would probably feel like a bitch. You know, but that's why he's not doing that.
Let's set that up. Let's make that happen.
You know, it's totally different, you know, but I understand it. Dusty, let me ask you this though. You never had a serious injury?
No. Bodybuilding was always, I think it's because I was actually born to be a power lifter and I just refused and did bodybuilding instead.
So
you know, that was
hurt yourself. That's
no,
good.
yeah. The gym has been real good.
Dusty's a very sturdy boy.
Yeah. No, but I like it because it's his way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't care. I don't think he gives a fuck who says what. He would not change this for anybody. You know, the only thing that can change this is the severe injury, which I never hope you will get because, you know, nobody deserves to injure himself. But you don't think of, how old are you now, Dusty?
42.
Oh, you're still a fucking baby. That's why.
He's not even old enough to know better, Dennis.
Yeah.
He's
I said
42. Oh, 42. I was being competitive. No, man.
Now it's purely for the
keep doing your thing.
It's purely for the joy of doing it. And I think what's fun, and I know you get this from the shows because I've seen you. I've been to obviously your shows many times. Is there is something fun when you meet a kid coming up, and I don't care how good they are, but when you see they got that screw loose that you have, and you're like, oh, you're here for pain. Yeah, I can help you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you introduce them to that. I really enjoy that part of bodybuilding, and I kind of feel like, you know, and there's a few left, but that are really kind of keeping that old school thing alive. And I feel like the the pendulum swinging back to the side of kids are wanting to train hard again. You know, you're starting to see more of it. I mean, obviously not like when we were coming up, just because, like you said, the sheer numbers. But I mean, we've got a few young psychopaths at the gym here, and it's good to see. You know, it's fun to watch them, and you know, even occasionally walk over. Like I don't know if I ever told you this, Dennis, but the first time I was training heavy in Golds in Venice, Chris Cormier walked over and he goes, "So you're nuts, huh?" And I was like, and I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, most people come here from out of town to be seen." And he's like, "You don't care." I was like, "No, I'm just here to train." And that was kind of where our friendship started. I was like, and he goes, "Why do you train that way?" I said, "Because I was given these genetics. I have no choice."
Right.
Do you? How many days a week you still train?
5. Yep.
5 days a week. Yeah. So why didn't you go for the Masters?
Because I just wanted, I mean, truthfully, the competitive side was never what I loved. Like I kind of did it like you said. The competing was to give myself a platform to make a career. Now I have the career, and I mean, I've told people many times, like, you could offer me $100,000 to do a show, and as long as I came in sharp, you'd give me the $100,000. I'd be like, I don't want to do that. I don't ever want to feel full of food ever again for the rest of my life. Yeah. I haven't been stuffed in 5 years. And you remember that when you're pushing down food you don't want to eat. I don't want to do that. Dennis, I try. It's funny because Ron actually said this and it put it in my mind. I try to make sure I feel hungry all day long. That's when I feel good. I don't, just eating was the thing I hated about bodybuilding. It was just the necessary evil. Yeah. And now that it's over, like, there's no way I would flip gears and go into, all right, we're going to eat this no matter what. Like you said, because it was, let's see, 08 till I was done. So, a decade straight of the only thing I ever thought about was, what am I eating next? What am I training? And how do I make money to afford this? You know what I mean? Now it's like the balance of life. I mean, I've got 2 stepkids now. I mean, you understand that stuff. I'm having more fun with them, and playing dad, and that's way more fun to me than bodybuilding.
Right. True. You're in South Carolina now, right?
Yep. Yep. Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, but we really appreciate your time, man. Having you on, you're one of the big guys in the sport, hosting the Arnold, and your podcast is killing it. And, it's really great to have you on and, shoot the shit. And the old stories was some of the stuff.
I love that stuff, man. I love that stuff. And Dusty came on my podcast, and the next time I'm going to bring you on, Ron, because why not? You're old school too,
Yeah.
If you know old school, you are old school.
What's your favorite?
Old school.
What's the favorite part of having the podcast? Like, what has it given to you that maybe you weren't expecting to get from it?
I didn't really expect a whole lot. I just always thought that this is something I wanted to do. Just, and I mean, everybody does a podcast now. So I was like, what can I do just to change it up just a little bit? That's why I said old school roundtable, because I think that just to get these guys that we look up to on the podcast, that's what I look forward to. Having people on that I either admired when I started, or that were in the same era. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I mean, I bring newer guys on now too, but it's always fun to have someone on like that been there, like Frank Zane. Frank Zane was awesome, even though he fell asleep on us, but it was awesome.
That's amazing.
That's gonna happen. Yeah. Old hippie.
Yeah, it was awesome though. It was awesome. That's what I get out of this. I like to just like when we sit together somewhere else at shows, we have a chat, we talk, we laugh. Why not put that out there for everybody to listen to?
For sure. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. And it's amazing what people get out of, like, you think you just had like a good conversation, and then you get the comments from people where they pull something really valuable or really like impactful out of something that was said on the show once in a while, and you're just like, oh wow,
Right. Yeah, I think it's important that the information goes out, because like I said, we had a couple of years where people dying left and right, And I think it's important for the young kids to really hear what everybody has to say, not just a couple of people, because the drug dealers is going to tell you the exact opposite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, those
Yeah.
are the ones that tell you it's not bad for you, it's good for you, you need this and you need that. You need to listen to the people from back in the days, because I don't have to lie and tell people I took only this much when I took 3 times more. Doesn't make any sense. So I tell people the truth, you know, and when I say that, they're like, that's all? I said, yes. So, I mean, because I work with athletes, I always have this questionnaire that I send to each one when they ask to, you know, to be on the team. And then I send them a question, and then where I ask them, you know, what do you do, or what have you done in the last 3 to 6 months? And I tell them to be honest, and I need to know.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if somebody comes in that's on 3 grams a test, and what are you going to do with him at 500? That dude's mentally fucked already, you know? So I need to know. So what I see sometimes from people is, it's unbelievable, man. It's not even ridiculous no more. It's ridiculous times 10, you know? And then you get the funniest answers when I ask, because not many times that I message or call or ask the person, I said, listen, why are you taking so much? And then you get some stupid answers like, I get it so cheap.
Right.
That's the logic. Why
Good
not?
Good thing they don't get cheap pain as
who
well.
wants to save money? Blast it, take it out. You know, it doesn't make no sense. And then those are the guys that when they can't get it, they can't get to where they want to go, and then they see someone who looks better, and they say, yeah, he uses more than me. If I would use what he uses, I would look the same.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's a sad story. I don't think that, you know, and I don't think that Dusty is using a lot of stuff no more, because that's just his nature. He trains the way he trains. If he's on or off, it doesn't matter. You know,
You shouldn't be able to
people
tell.
think
That's
different.
what I always say.
When people come to me and they've been on for 3 years, 4 years straight, nonstop, and I tell them, I said, listen, you might want to clean out for a couple of months, you know. And then 3 days later, they already messaging me. I said, I lost 80% of my strength.
That was never your strength to begin with.
Yeah, but it's here. They fucking don't shoot one day and they feel weak the next.
Yeah.
You know, you don't understand. It's going in the wrong. It's been going in the wrong direction. But at the end of the day, you know, you can't help it. You can only spread the information, and everybody can use it, or they can just say, "Fucking you lying," and I don't listen to him anyways. You know what I'm saying? It's up to them. You know?
Yeah.
But we need to keep. We need to stop dying. Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah. The madness.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I get, we get from you, Dennis, which one of the reasons we wanted to have you on, is that you're one of the guys that wants to leave bodybuilding better than you found it. You know, like you're trying to leave something, you're trying to educate, you're trying to make sure that the next generation get the info they need. And, you know, we all appreciate that, man. And, you know, like we said, we all loved you guys commentating. We loved you commentating on the Arnold, and we hope that continues. I'm not sure what the plan is moving forward. If you're going to be there this year, are we going to hear you this year?
Next year. I think so. I think, so far, nothing's changed, I think. Well, probably not.
Excellent.
Yeah, very happy about that, man.
It's even possible that we go to both of them, Columbus and then England.
Okay.
That'd be awesome.
Dusty and I will be at the Arnold UK. So if you come to England, we will see you there.
You're going to be in the UK?
You bet. You bet. We're going with Mutant.
Why in the UK?
Because Mutant will have a booth at the expo.
But you guys are going to be in Columbus also, right?
Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll be at both shows.
And George messaged me, guys, the other day. George emailed me, asked me if I wanted to go to the Arnold in Ohio. So I will join you as well.
Awesome.
There we go.
So we'll all be at the Mutant booth.
Is Mutant pretty big now in Europe?
Yeah, they've always done really well in Europe. They've I've been going to FIBO.
I don't know who the guy is to talk to, but listen, when you guys get a chance, let the guy know, man. I got a huge show in Frankfurt, the qualifier, every year that sells 3,000 tickets. 3,000 tickets. You
Awesome.
know, if Mutant want to jump on as a sponsor, and next year, I have it's a pro qualifier, and I'm going to do a pro event, Classic Physique. So next year, I'm expecting to have guys on stage like Urs 2 weeks after the Olympia, Urs, Mike Sommerfeld, and having a nice lineup in the pro division. If you're interested in sponsoring, hook me up with the right contact.
Oh, I will.
Absolutely.
I'll definitely let you know who to talk to. Definitely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
want to support the great shows and the great promoters. So,
But
thanks, buddy.
Are they from England or from Canada?
Canada.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. I thought they were from England.
No, but they got huge distribution over there. So,
Right.
yeah. So, yeah.
Awesome. So
Okay.
you guys going to be at the FIBO too then, right?
Yep. FIBO, Arnold UK. Yeah, exactly. Arnold Classic will be at all of them. So
Awesome.
We'll see you. I know you always walk by the Mutant booth and always stop and say hi quite often. So I'm sure it'll happen again, buddy.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. I can't wait.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on, Dennis. Obviously everyone can watch the Menace podcast. He's got an all-star lineup over there. If you want to see, a bunch of Hall of Famers arguing over who should have won the O, that is the place to go. Very good episode, by the way. You guys had some real good ones after the Olympia this year. So,
okay. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Enjoyed.
Yesterday we didn't have an episode because I was sick last week. So
we'll
be filming again tomorrow. So
nice.
Okay. Okay. Well, thanks,
you guys,
Dennis.
Man. Thank you guys for having me on. I mean, it was awesome. I watch your stuff, so don't think you guys go unnoticed because you don't. We'll see everything. Thanks for that video with the. One day I'm going to send you guys another video.
Yes.
I would love to do another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a big hit. So we'll do Dennis James videos again.
Really?
They're a big hit. Oh yeah. Big hit. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I appreciate the love, man. So I wish you guys all the best. And hey, whenever you guys want to need to come on, let me know. I'm hopping on. Not a problem at all.
Okay. Thanks, man. Dennis James, IFBB Hall of Famer. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Take care, guys.
Cheers.
Be safe.
Yeah. Cheers.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. We pulled it off.
We did, but I'm in the middle. Now Scott's in the middle.
Put Dennis James interview.
There we go.
I had a couple more. Oh, almost. There we go. The world has returned. I had a couple moments where I thought he froze, but he was just really listening intently.
Yeah. He was really cool, man.
You know what's great about Dennis is the fact that when he comes on the show, we're just talking.
Yeah, and I actually felt bad, like we were at hour 10, so I kind of started doing an exit. And then he started.
Like, I'm not done.
Yeah. So I'm like, hey, if I'll you show someone like, hey, the door is there. Yep, and they're like, nah, I'm good. And he kept chatting. I was like, oh, fucking awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I felt, well, I'll give him another sympathy exit now. And he kept talking. And then I was like, well, I should give him a courtesy exit now. And then he took that one. So that was good. Yeah. So it was good. So thanks to Dennis.
Blown away to see him because I see him still pretty often when I'm back in Arizona, and I just don't think people understand genetics. He
still looks awesome.
Not train. Every time you talk to him, he hasn't trained in a while. I always laugh. Yeah. I'm like, he's just that good. And when he goes to the gym, he's not kidding. He just gets a pump and whatever. But it's it's a fit tank. He's still very big, and he's he eats a couple times a day. Even way less than I do. And I'm
he also,
how do you look like that?
Also, we're getting I'm getting older, but Dennis James isn't.
No, he's glowing. You know what I mean? His skin's just glowing, and he's looking good all the time.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be older than him soon. Which
you didn't catch the jab that he gave me, which was unintentional, but it was amazing. He's like, "You're only 42? I thought you were 75." I was laughing at the back. I wanted this joke so bad, but I was like, I don't want him to think I'm actually offended. I just think it's hysterical because I'm like, that's what I always tell people. He's like, "Oh, you're only 42." I'm like, hard to believe. I'm aware. I am aware. Oh, there was pure confusion in his face. So that was great. I loved having him on. We could have went for hours though. We touched 3 time periods of bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I do need to. I'm gonna actually shoot him a text though because I want to know what the name is of the other video that he had with the lunges in the parking lot that I couldn't find. I'm like,
oh, that one. Well, he said he had another video for us, so I want to know what that is. Maybe it's like something from the vault that he's got a VHS at home still.
I will go find a VHS player and put it onto a DVD and download it to a computer if need be.
Right.
Okay. I just had to respond to something. Had to put a fire out, boys.
Yeah,
it happens.
All good?
Just a
small fire.
Couple quick texts. Yeah. You know what I mean? So is that the show? Or are we wrapping that? We can wrap that.
Wrap it up.
This is good. Yeah.
Okay. Ready? I'll let you edit that in because I got totally sidetracked.
Just keep going.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay. It's all good. So remember, everybody, like, share, subscribe, comment, and
ring the bell. You guys needed me last week, by the way. Skip dropped the ball.
He didn't know. He didn't know.
You kept nudging him. I was I was yelling at my screen, ring the bell.
Did you like the editing, Dusty, where I like zoomed in on his face, you know?
It got closer and closer. And his face got more confused. What are they trying to... My dog does that sometimes. Like, what does he want me to do?
Yeah. Okay, and remember, IamMutant.com. Go to imutant.com, get your ISO surge, get your all in, and everybody should get on the gear. Dusty 20, Big Ron 20. Use the codes, get 20% off. Right? Yes. And Patreon.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah, thank you, everybody, for supporting the Patreon. And guys, I think it's time. I think that the t-shirts are finally ready. Like, I'm ready to unleash the website to the world. I think this is a go. So
okay, nice. Okay.
I ran it by a couple people. I think we're good. So I'll put the link in the description for t-shirts.
As long as the money button goes in the bank slot and the shirt thing gets sent out, that's all that really matters.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, don't hold back because I'm not sure about the color of the site. Maybe we got to edit some of the text.
Well, here's the thing.
Get those sales.
Here's the thing. So we have two designs, basically. Well, two shirts. I have the loose fitting shirt, which is they're both really soft, thin material. And then this is the fitted shirt. So like it's a little tighter on the guns. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we've got the loose fit and that goes up to 4X on some of the shirts. And then we have this that only goes to 2X and it's a little bit more of an athletic cut. But both of them are both like thin material and there's a few different options. And we did a girl shirt, but I think a lot of our female listeners are probably going to want, my guess is, a lot of them, you know what I'm saying? They're going to want like the men's shirts is my guess, like for leg day, big oversized. You know what I mean? They're not going to buy the tight fitted women's shirts. So, but I figured I'd offer it for anybody who wanted them.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Okay. We're excited. Get ready to buy a shirt, everybody. And we're going to stack those $4 profits.
Four.
It's four. Yeah. See, Dusty will just get more and more jewelry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting the grill. I told you that already.
Total grill put in. Yeah. I'm going to have like 20 guitars on the wall behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys. And remember, it's just bodybuilding.